Hi, folks, it's Keith, Victor Echo 3 Sierra Victor Quebec. Here today with a quick video talking about 8 things you need to do a Pota or Parks on the Air activation. Now, this video came about, I've already done one, which is on YouTube. You just got to look up the Shaky key, which is what it's under, or under my call sign. And I did one on what it is to be a hunter. I'm going to do another one, much more detailed on, how to be an activator. But most of the questions I get are about equipment. Can I use this? Can I use that? And I guess the easiest thing to say is keep it simple, especially when you first start out. None of us know if we're going to like to do this. I happen to be someone who does. I started as a hunter, hunted for, I guess, or hunted or chased parks is probably another word that we use, for about a year. And just listening to the people who were doing activations and the fun they were having and some of their comments, and in some of the slower moments chatting with a few. And I thought that might be something to do. So I started to get ready for it. And of course, you go to YouTube and you watch all the videos. And, it can be a little discouraging because there's some people using very expensive setups. And, when you start adding up some of the money, you start to say to yourself, geez, I don't know about this. But they all started the same as you. They started simple. And some of them have been doing it for a few years now. And over time, typical ham radio operators, you acquire stuff. And so now, yeah, they've got fancy tents, they've got canopies, they've got, $300, $400 antennas and all this type of stuff. And good for them. I think that's fantastic because it's getting them out and they're having an awful lot of fun doing it. And Pota, when you think about it, Pota's actually been given a lot of the credit, along with Soda, which is Summits on the Air, for sort of revitalizing ham radio and getting, so many people involved. And definitely, I was one of those, your radio sits on your desk, it gets used a few times a year when there's a contest or something. But it tends to gather dust most of the time. And then, I found these guys and went to their website, and it was, this is interesting. Let's try it. And like I say, I chased parks, collected park numbers and names for a while. And then as you sort of get that itch, I want to go out and activate. So don't make it too complicated. What I'm going to try and show you here is just how simple it is and how little equipment you need to actually go and activate a park. And the other video, which I will make probably next week sometime, will be a much more detailed one on how you go about activating a park. But you really don't need a lot of equipment. And when you look at what I've brought with me here, and I just sort of spread it out on the floor, pretty well anyone can do it. What I would do today is a little bit different. You get a lot of comments from people wanting to know what type of setup we use. And I always show it in some of the videos, but a lot of people, I guess, are making the same mistake I made when I got into this, which is to assume that it's very complicated. And really, you just got to keep it simple. And, at the beginning, especially if you're activating parks, you may have to put out a bit of money. You don't want to put out a lot because you may not like it. So this is essentially what I bring when I go to a park. And if you look at them, there's the 7300, ICOM 7300. That's my, standard radio. That's what I use in the house. That's what I take to a park, and I'll attach an older video so you can see how it's set up. You're going to need a microphone or a key, depending on which you're using. Some people do both. I have not done CW in a park yet, so I never bring that, but the microphone for sure. And in my case, I don't even use that. I use a headset just because I happen to like it better. There's your battery. That's one from Cabela's. It's a Markham battery, 10 amp hour. It's excellent. Works very well. Usually they're around $80 or so. And again, keep in mind, because it's a lithium battery, the first time you buy it, you're going to have to get a special charger for it. So that's just the way it is. Now, I use the ham sticks. This is my go-to. I originally started with two. I started with the 20 meter and 40 meter. And then at a recent ham fest here down in Iroquois, I picked up a 10 and 15 meter. So you can start off relatively inexpensive, especially if you can get some of these at a ham fest somewhere. So that's your basic equipment. There's the magnetic mount. I use one of the MFJ ones, and I don't use the big heavy duty magnetic mount. I prefer this one. I don't drive with it on, so it's not a big deal, but it's more than strong enough and to hold the mast and winds and whatever else. And of course, a clipboard. That's what you're going to need. Now, I made my own. I found the one that the Pota site gives the spaces were too narrow, and for my old eyes, I definitely preferred more room. So in this case, mine are all 10 per page, so it's very easy for me to keep track of the number of contacts I have. In one of these, we laugh about them, but yes, definitely bring a card so you know where you are. You would be surprised when you're being bombarded by call signs coming in how easy it is to forget the park number. So I always bring one of those. And that's essentially it. That's all you need. Oh yes, I forgot one thing here. For the battery, you're going to need your connector cable. For the battery, you need this connector cable or one like it. I've seen some just with the alligator claws on the end. It's whatever works to hook your battery up and connect it into your power cable for your radio. Now, in my case, the ICOM 7300 has a built-in antenna tuner, so there's no problems whatsoever. You may find that you need one. Depends on the type of antenna. But like I say, this is my basic traveling kit. This is what I take with me. For other days when I want to get into it a bit more, there's a 40-meter end fed that can go up into a tree, or you can buy a mast for it. I usually use the MFJ, I think it's a 1910 31-foot mast, but that's something I do rarely. Generally, this is my kit. So essentially, you're looking at a radio, a microphone, battery. That's 3 items. The antenna base is 4. The antenna itself is 5. The jumper cables would be 6. And the clipboard 7. And like I say, the park ID card 8. So 8 items is all you need. And when you look at it, other than the radio itself, this is all pretty inexpensive. Anyways, I will attach a clip now from, I think this one's from the Baxter Conservation Area where I was a couple of weeks ago, and you'll see how everything fits together in the car. Enjoy the video that follows and see exactly what I mean when I say keep it simple.
This is what we're using today. It's pretty much my normal one. And that's just an MFJ 20-meter ham stick on the roof. Small car, so not a lot of metal, but it goes up quite high, as you can see. It's a nice area around here. And signals reports today were just booming in. We were having lots of fun time, lots of clear, strong signals all over the eastern and the central states. For those of you who haven't seen the setup here, it's a pretty simple one. 7300 up on the dash, and it's hooked up to a ham stick, 20-meter ham stick on the roof. And there's my park. There's the battery, which I use. I absolutely love this little battery. It's a Brute by Markham. Wonderful battery. Serves me well. I've yet to have any problems with battery issues, which is always good news. So there you go, simple setup. If you've watched these videos before, you know the one I use. This is pretty much my standard go-to setup.
Anyways, I hope you try it. It can be a lot of fun, certainly motivating, and you're going to see some really interesting parks. I mean, I've been doing it basically, I don't know, half a year now, and I think I've been into 5 parks I never even knew existed, and that's just in the Ottawa area. Surrounding Ottawa, they say within about an hour, there's probably 55, 60 parks that you can do this in, so you never get bored. And in some cases, I go back to the same park 2 or 3 times simply because it's very convenient. I tend to go sort of in the afternoon. My schedule allows that. And unlike a lot of the videos you see, I'm not camping and staying there and staying on the radio for 8, 9 hours or whatever. Mine tend to be, relatively short, 2 hours, 3 hours at the most. So drive there, set up, play radio for 1 or 2 hours, get the number of contacts I need, which is 10. You only need 10 contacts to make it official. And then unpack and get home. So it's whatever you want to make. People go by car, van, bicycle, motorcycles. Some people, backpack in. It's whatever suits you. And I think that's one of the reasons it's so much fun. And people have asked, can they come out when I'm out? Yeah, when I'm out there, I've no problems. You can come sit down and help log data for that matter. And others, like I said, under either the Shaky key or under my call sign on YouTube. And I try and keep it really simple, nothing fancy. Keith, Victor Echo 3, Sierra Victor, Quebec. Hope you enjoy it. Have a great day.